Monster Inc. Slowly, a fairy blue monster drove into work with his best friend and assistant, Mike. It was Sully's job to pop out of closet doors and scare kids in human world. He was the top scarer at Monster Inc. Other monsters worked at scaring kids too, including another monster named Randall. Before work started, he even scared poor Mike just for fun. After Mike shouted, Randall was jealous of Sully because Randall wanted to be the top scarer at Monster Inc. The monster started to work on the scare floor. First, a scientist set up closet door. Next, Scare went through the doors in human world, confronting kids. Finally, the let the stream return into energy to power the city of Metropolis. It was a dangerous job. Later, when one of the scares returned with a shield sock on his back, everyone panicked. The children under CDA tried to destroy the Harsada sock. After all, every monster knew that children and their belongings were toxic. After work that day, Mike planned to have dinner with his girlfriend, Claire. But the office's manager, Rose, wouldn't let Mike leave because he hadn't finished his paperwork. So after to do the paperwork for his friend. Sully was surprised to find the door still open on the empty skater floor. He was even more surprised when the little girl grabbed his tail. Kitty! She cried, letting into the Metropolis was the worst thing a monster could do. No one could find out. Sully shoved the little girl into a big bag and went to find Mike at the restaurant. When Mike saw Sully, he knew something was wrong, but he didn't realize how wrong until the little girl got out of the bag and started running around the restaurant. The monster was terrific. So Mike scooped the girl into a box and raced home. Just the CDA arrived on the scent. Claire, who was dragged away by the CDA again, didn't know what was happening. The little girl wasn't scared at all. She even laughed at Mike. And when she did, the entry lit up a surge of power. What was that? Sully asked, confused. Pen power surge. Had no idea, but it could be a really great. She just didn't do it again, Mike answered. Sully tried to get the child to go to sleep in his room, and she pointed to the closet fearfully. She had drawn a picture of what scared her. It was Randall. He was her monster. Sully showed her the empty closet. See, no monster here, he promised, and added, I'm not going to scare you. I'm half dusty. Feeling better, the girl quickly fell asleep. As he watched her, he began to think she wasn't dangerous after all. Sully and Mike decided they would send the little girl back through her closet door. Next morning, they disguised her as a baby monster and brought her back to Monster Inc. She even fooled their boss, Mr. Waternoose, and the CDA again, who were looking for a child. When they were overhead, Randall was talking about the kid. There was one who had let the kid into Monster Inc. Randall was up to no good. When the coast was clear, so Mike raced it to the theater floor. Mike brought down the door. This is a Boo store, Sully said. Boo, what Boo? Asked Mike. That's what I decided to call her. Sully, and the other monster noticed Mike quickly
你念到哪里？
into a little song and dance. When we saw a sense for a country play, he flipped.
用手指点着。
Randall realized Mike was making up a story. He told Mike to go to the empty, scared floor at lunchtime. He promised that the girl's door would be there, and Mike would send the child back. It was a trick. Randall was going to capture Boo. Mike went through the door first, and Randall caught Mike instead. 你知道他在干嘛吗？
干嘛？
这样的把它放在一个盒子里，好像吗？
可是啊，
他都放这个哦，打他。Randall took Mike to his secret lab where he had invited a terrible machine to check screen from the children kidnapped from human world. Sully and Boo rescue Mike. The monsters quickly found their boss, Mr. Waternoose. The two friends told Mr. Waternoose about Randall's plan to kidnap children. Then they learned Waternoose had been working with Randall all along. Waternoose grabbed Boo and pushed Mike and Sully through a closet door to the human world. Sully was determined to save Boo. Luckily, he found a chill bedroom and made his way back to Monster and Randall's secret lab. Sully smashed Randall's terrible machine and saved Boo. Kitty, the little girl shouted happily.
3只眼睛了，你看到没有？
Mike had made it back together. The friends raced to send Boo back home. This time, nothing was going to stop them, not even my girlfriend, Claire, who was very unhappy about the way her date with Mike has ended. Sully and Mike took Boo to the door vault, where rows and rows of children's doors were stored to power the door and make them work. Mike had made Boo laugh. They had to find Boo door fast. Randall was right behind them. The monster began going out of the door to escape from Randall. Working together, they trapped Randall and the human world in this door. Randall wouldn't be returning or scaring kids any soon. Now the CDA was after Boo. Well, Mike decided again to leave Randolph. with Boo, but Brother News saw them. "Give me the chills," he ordered. Mr. Water News told them that there was an energy source and that kidnapping children was the only way to save the company. Sully knew it was wrong, and so did Rose, who also heard Rodden's confession. It turned out that Rose was the head of the city against Water News. Finally, Sully got Boo safely back home. "Goodbye, Boo," he said gently. When he returned, Rose had Boo door shared into tiny pieces to keep the little girl safe. That means Sully would never see Boo again. Sully had learned something important. Laughter was more powerful than screams. He took over the company and solved the power source by turning the scared floor into a laugh floor. That's so funny. Monster Inc. made more energy than ever. Still, Sully missed Boo, and all he had left was a little sliver of her door. Then one day, Mike surprised his best friend. He had glued Boo's door back. Together, Sully fit in the last piece and once again went through her closet door. Instead of dreaming, Sully heard a little voice he had been missing cried out, "Kitty." Thanks for watching. Bye.